the previous video, we derived the general solution for damped vibration, and we saw that as t varies, x varies. In the same way as square root of b square minus omega square varies also, x varies, and this can happen in three ways. The first one is when b square is greater than omega square, and the second is b square is equal to omega square, and third is when b square less than omega square, which are dealt separately in this video.
Let us now study about the first case, that is when b square is greater than omega square, what happens to the value of x. So when b square is greater than omega square, b square minus omega square is a positive value, but square root of b square minus omega square will be less than b. We know that square root of b square is b, but here we are removing some value from b square and then taking the square root of that. Obviously, square root of b square minus omega square will be less than the value of b. In the general solution, if you consider this term here, square root of b square minus omega square will be lesser than b. In other words, this value will be a negative term. E power of some negative value shows that there is an exponential decay of the displacement, that is x, with respect to time. So as time elapses, there is exponential decrease in the value of x. The body, after passing through its maximum displacement, simply comes to its equilibrium position and rests there without undergoing any more oscillations. This case is called as overdamped or deadbeat or aperiodic motion. The example for this is motion of a pendulum in a highly viscous liquid, where if the pendulum is taken for maximum displacement position, it will simply come down to rest position, equilibrium position with respect to time slowly and will not oscillate anymore. Thus, we can define overdamping as it is the condition under which the restoring and resistive forces acting on a body are such that the body is brought to halt at the equilibrium position without oscillation, but in a time greater than that, which is the minimum time in which the same result could be achieved with the right combination of resistive and restoring forces. Next, let us discuss the second case where b square becomes equal to omega square. If we consider b square to be equal to omega square, here in this equation this becomes infinity. So we cannot analyze the equation for b square equal to omega square. In order to overcome this problem, let us assume that square root of b square minus omega square is a very small quantity, almost close to 0 but not 0. Then this equation can be written as x is equal to c, that is I am writing this as c e power minus b plus, I will write this as a small value epsilon into t plus d e power, so this is d e power minus b minus a small value epsilon into t. Instead of taking b square is equal to omega square, I have taken square root of b square minus omega square as a very small quantity epsilon. If I simplify this equation, I can write this equation as c e power minus b t into e power epsilon t plus d e power minus bt into e power minus epsilon t. So you can see e power minus bt is common here. I can write this as e power minus bt into c e power epsilon t plus d e power minus epsilon t. This equation x is a product of two terms. One is this term and one more is this term. If I expand this e power epsilon t in exponential series, e power x is equal to 1 plus x by 1 factorial plus x squared by 2 factorial plus so on, I can write this equation as x is equal to e power minus bt c, expansion of e power epsilon t will be 1 plus x by 1 factorial, that is epsilon t, plus x square. So this, we know that epsilon is a very small value, so the square of this will be a further smaller value, so we will not use the further terms because they are almost negligible. So it will be c into 1 plus epsilon t, then d into expansion of this, that is 1 minus epsilon t. Again we neglect the further terms. Further, on simplification, we can write e power minus bt into, if I expand this, c plus c epsilon t plus d minus d epsilon t, or I can write this as e power minus bt into c plus d plus epsilon t is common into c minus d. This is a product of two terms. One is e power minus bt and the second term is this. If you consider this term, for explanation's sake, let me write this as e power minus bt some p plus c minus d as some q epsilon t. Then as t is present in both this expression and this expression, both contribute to the variation of x, but t is exponent part over here. So as t increases, the effect of this term is more than this term on variation of x. So this dominates this term. When t value is very small, the contribution of this term is comparable to this term. But as t increases, this dominates this term. So initially, for small value of t, x decreases slowly, but as t increases, since this term dominates, the x value rapidly decreases and then the body comes to the equilibrium position. So such a condition is called as critical damping. Many electrical instruments like pointer galvanometer, voltmeter exhibit critical damping. The pointer in the instrument, after receiving an impulse, smoothly comes to the displaced position without overshooting or oscillating. This critical damping can also be defined as it is the condition under which the restoring and resistive forces acting on a body are such that the body is brought to a halt at equilibrium position without oscillation in the minimum time. Overdamping or deadbeat case and critical damping, in both the cases body does not oscillate. After going to the maximum displacement position, the body comes to equilibrium position. But in overdamping or deadbeat case, the body slowly comes back to the equilibrium position, whereas in critical damping, the body comes to the equilibrium position or a halt without oscillating in minimum time. So that is the difference between overdamping and critical damping. The best practical application for critical damping is the shock absorbers in the vehicle. So if you have absorbed the shock absorbers in the vehicle, once the vehicle comes across a bump or a pothole in the road, the vehicle will come to its equilibrium position once it passes the bump or the pothole without further undergoing oscillations. The best example what we can give for critical damping is the spring which is there in the shock absorber of the vehicle. That is, in case of new vehicles this holds good, but in case of worn out shock absorbers where the spring has become very old, if the vehicle comes across a bump or a pothole, the body will not immediately come back to the equilibrium position, but it undergoes small oscillations for few times and then the vehicle will come back to rest or mean position. So the springs in new shock absorbers undergo critical damping where the vehicle comes back to the mean position quickly in small duration of time without undergoing oscillations. The third case is when b square is lesser than omega square. So if we go back to the general solution for damped oscillations, we observe that the exponential part has square root of b square minus omega square. So if b square becomes less than omega square, b square minus omega square is a negative number. So I can write this square root of b square minus omega square also as square root of minus of omega square minus b square, or I can write this as root of minus 1 and root of omega square minus b square, or I can write this as root of minus 1 is I, and I'll write that square root of omega square minus b square as n. So root of b square minus omega square is written as I into n. What happens to this equation? X is equal to x naught by 2 into 1 plus b by square root of b square minus omega square is in e power minus b plus in into t plus 1 minus b by in e power minus b minus in into t. We can further simplify this equation as x naught by 2 into 1 plus b by in e power minus bt and e power int plus 1 minus b by in into e power minus bt e power minus int. Now e power minus bt is common here. X naught by 2 e power minus bt into e power int plus b by in e power int plus e power minus int minus b by in e power minus int. Or I can again simplify this as x naught by 2 e power minus bt into e power int plus e power minus int plus b by in e power int minus e power minus int. By Euler's theorem, we know that e power plus or minus int can be written as cos nt plus or minus I sin nt. Substituting this in this equation, x is equal to x naught by 2 e power minus bt into e power int will be cos nt plus I sin nt plus e power minus int will be cos nt minus I sin nt, there is an n here, plus b by in cos nt plus I sin nt minus cos nt, and minus into minus plus becomes plus I sin nt. So here I sin nt and this I sin nt gets cancelled, and here cos nt and this cos nt gets cancelled. So this can be further simplified as x is equal to x naught by 2 e power minus bt 2 cos nt plus b by in 2i sin nt, or I can take this 2 as common here and that gets cancelled with this 2, and I can also take n out of the bracket here, so this becomes x is equal to x naught by 2 e power minus bt. 2 is common, so that comes out, and I am taking this n also as common, so this becomes n cos nt plus b by, so I is getting cancelled here, so it will be b sin nt. Now let n is equal to alpha sin phi and b is equal to alpha cos phi. So if I substitute this and solve, so x is equal to, this 2 is cancelled, so x naught by n e power minus bt, n is alpha sin phi cos nt plus b is alpha cos phi sin nt. So this is of the form sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. So I can write this as alpha taken out as common, x is equal to x naught by n into alpha e power minus bt sin of nt plus phi, sin of a plus b. Or I can also write this as x is equal to a into e power minus bt sin nt plus phi, where a is equal to x naught alpha by n and phi will be equal to tan inverse of n by b, that is sin phi by cos phi will be n by b, so phi will be equal to tan inverse of n by b using these two, and we know already b is equal to r by 2m. Now since the coefficient of the phase term always represents the amplitude in any equation for vibratory motion, a e power minus bt in this equation is the amplitude of vibration of the body. So this is of the form x is equal to a sin theta. So if I compare that, this portion gives the amplitude of the vibration of the body. As time passes, t increases, because of which e power minus bt decreases. The amplitude a e power minus bt therefore decreases progressively, resulting in the damping of the vibration. So in this type of condition, as time passes, the amplitude of vibration goes on decreasing because of this factor. And if you note the place of n here in the equation, it shows that this represents nothing but the angular frequency, because we know initially we had taken n is equal to square root of omega square minus b square. So for small value of b, n will be nothing but omega. If b is very small, n will be nothing but omega. So if I have to represent this using a diagram or a graph, I can represent this as, it will be a wave like this, where you can see that the amplitude is going on decreasing exponentially. So with respect to time. So you can see the amplitude is going on decreasing with respect to time. This is an oscillatory motion with amplitude going on decreasing. But whereas the first two cases, if I have to represent it using a graph, then the graph will be this being the displacement and this being the time. The graph is, for the first case, the amplitude or the body suddenly comes down to rest but slowly. But for the second case, initially it comes down slowly, but later on the body comes down to rest with the minimum time. So this is the case when b is greater to omega, and this is the case when b is equal to omega. So this is how we can describe the theory of damped oscillations.